I'm typically not measuring the actual CFM airflow unless I've got that much time on a call. I'm interested in seeing the new what is it, the Energy Conservatory. They have that product now that you can it's like the airflow grid you can put in the returns.
Oh yeah, the True Flow grid. Yeah.
The True Flow grid. Yeah, I'm curious to see how that bad boy works because I
I,
think that'll be a pretty good tool for the arsenal.
it's interesting about the True Flow grid. I mean, it's like I was fired up about that too. I'm like, I'd like to have one of those. Just have an air handler in the shop, put the grid in there, and like fiddle with it and see how it affects airflow. But
Yeah,
apparently, those cost a lot of money.
yeah. I looked them up on True Tech, and my budget's not quite there yet.
I'm trying to bring it up right now while we're talking.
I think it was like 1,700 bucks if I remember correct.
Yep.
That was before my Shop Talk discount applied.
Well, you know what? That would really put you in the ballpark after that. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be cool to have it though. I mean, I see different sets. I guess they slide them into like the filter slots on the equipment themselves. Is what I think happens. Is that your understanding?
That's my understanding. That would be the most logical understanding because I'm curious what we. I know there's a technique. I didn't get too far into it. If there's like multiple return grills, because I'm assuming you could also place them at the grill. But
Yeah.
I'm deducing that they're probably meant to be at the equipment for accuracy.
Yeah, it makes sense. Plus, you got return ducts that have a
Yeah,
lot of loss to them sometimes, so it really wouldn't be accurate
yeah.
anyway. Like, yeah, I'd like to have one. Looks like there's one here for $1,200. I mean, I guess this stuff costs. I understand. It costs money to make and everything like that.
Yeah, I think the one I looked up was like the full kit with all of the um, whatever, all the grids available, and I think they even have like a grid that's customizable.
Oh man,
Um,
that's what I want too now.
so I figured if I would invest, I might as well get
Yeah,
the most common ones I could use because I'm sure I get the cheapest kit, and then every filter that I need is not the one that I have.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. I mean, you buy the thing like the first one you use it on, it's like, well, I don't have this one, so I got to wait till the next one. Next one's like, nope. But it looks like
Yeah,
it's the Minneapolis Digital True Flow Solution full kit with the manometer. So the really nice
yeah,
manometer that you use for like building performance too. Isn't it the same with DG8? Isn't it the one they use for like uh, uh,
yeah. High
zone
precision. Yeah.
diagnosis? Yeah. So it's $1,700, but with a shopped out discount code, it's still rather expensive. Yeah. I look forward to seeing yours. Save 8% off your order at TrueTechTools.com by using the Shop Talk discount code. Hey now, what about it? What's up, everybody? My name is Zach Ciota. This is HVAC Shop Talk, and I'm just fired up to have a good time with you guys here today. We're going to read a manual. That's right. We're going to read a manual, have a great time, talk to some chatters. Just, we're going to keep it real. We're going to have fun. We're going to keep it real, like me and Beaver like to say. It's going to be real, guys. Authentic HVAC. Try to keep the coughing to a minimum. It's still going. It's still going. Let's say hello to the chat. We have Everything HVAC Aura. We have Eddie. We have Tazaz Home Services. We have myself. We have Raul Mesa. We have Albert Matar. our frequent caller, Albert. Good to see you out there, cleaning the dirty coils of the Goodman units all across the Charlotte metro area, maybe Gastonia, maybe Monroe. If you go to Monroe, you can probably clean the coil on our buddy Nick Guerrero. He lives in Monroe. I feel bad because I've driven through Charlotte like at first, for like the first 42 years of my life, I never went to Charlotte at all. But in the last couple of years, I've been there like several times. I need to hook up with some of these people. I went through Monroe, but I was in a hurry, or I would have called Nick, because Nick's actually been to my house here and had dinner with us. Actually, we had dinner at the Mexican restaurant, but it was awesome. But we have several of our guys who live in Charlotte. It would have been awesome to get together. We should do that sometime, guys out there. Welcome to the show, Steve Stone, Jared. Nothing like reading a manual to boost those YouTube numbers. Hey, man, I just kind of do random stuff, and if the YouTube numbers appear, they appear. If they don't, they don't. I found that if you do more stuff, they go higher. That's my finding so far after 11 years. Do more stuff, and they go higher. To Zah's Home Services, say, Zach, it's me, Isaiah. I say, what's up to Zah? Because I like that name better, so I'm just going to go with that. Michael Bimco, oi, fellows, what's up, Michael Bimco? Yeah, well, the manual I got into, first of all, you guys look at my sweet new gauges I have over here. I should have brought them closer. I don't think I can bring them any closer right now because I have to unfold the ladder. It's going to look stupid, but it's awesome. I almost want to bring them closer. I'm sorry, I'm going to. Let's see if they fall down or not. You guys are going to love these things. They're brand new. Sorry for podcast people who don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, let's get them nice and close there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah, we got some sweet stuff right there. These are Bluetooth right here. They're called the iManifold. And I have this cool gauge. And what it is this thing right here. It actually talks to the other things that you want it to talk to. Like this is a temperature and pressure probe. Let me get it real close to the camera there. This is the Imperial Dependable Under Pressure. That's their little logo there. This is the Imperial Model 911M wireless humidity probe from the iManifold people. Yeah, that's right. I love this iManifold thing. Now, obviously this thing is old. Hey, check this thing out, actually. It's been beat up. I think beat all to heck is probably the better term. And I knew it was beat all to heck. Take a look at this thing. It's been rode hard and put up wet. Let me hang it back up here. No prayer to use a device properly if you can't hang it up properly. So what it is my buddy Clint, who listens to this show, said, I'm going to send you one of my iManifolds that doesn't work and some of the stuff, and you can tinker with it. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like just my speed, like Doc Holliday. That sounds like just my game. So we're going to try to figure out what's wrong with this thing. He said he's really tortured it. Like part of the back is actually cracked and broken off. I don't care. He just sent it to me. It was free. What am I going to say no? I'm never going to say no because this is awesome. This is the setup I used to use. I love this stuff. Now, I like the iConnect better than the iManifold. The iConnect is the version that there's no hoses. You just use the pressure probes for the lines too. I don't remember the names for these things, but you have the temperature and humidity deals right here. Then you have your pressure probes for the line. Oh, yeah. Eddie's like you and your fancy tools. I didn't even get this one, Eddie. This one just came to me like in a dream. I wasn't going to go buy this thing. I can't afford it, to be honest with you. But Clint sent it to me, and I think Clint's an all right guy. He's okay in my book, that Clint. He's okay. He's a Subscribe Star supporter, too. Jump on board with that, everybody. So, awesomeness. It's great. I look to try to figure out what's wrong with it. I didn't ask him. I need to ask him if he ever found out what was wrong with it besides it just doesn't work. So we have a few more people in the chat here. R134A Hole. Okay. I don't know what that means. Cooling with Kraus HVAC. And I think that's it. All right. All right, guys. He's chilling. Everybody's chilling out there. All right, so what I was doing is, first of all, I was digging through all the stuff on my desk because one of the things fell over. Well, little containers I built out of pallet wood, which I'm showing the people on YouTube here. And it was interesting to see what was in this thing because I've had it for a while. And at the very top, if you guys can see this, I'm going to hold this up to the screen. That's ACFM. That's actual CFM equals SCFM with not quotations, but parentheses around PSI standard 14.7, which is the PSI in the atmosphere or gauge or whatever you want to call it, not the absolute zero or whatever, divided by PSI actual, brackets around saturated pressure minus relative humidity. This was back in the day when I was trying to figure out how the manifold was actually calculating actual CFM from standard CFM. And I came up with all this stuff here, and I had to look on like engineeringtoolbox.com because for some reason I had this burr up my butt about trying to figure out what it was doing, because I said, I want to make sure we can do this like in the field without the iManifold. As you can see, that's not really a productive line of thinking. But it was interesting to kind of research like the vapor pressure in the atmosphere, how it's different all across the United States. So if you were to apply, or by extension the world, so if you were to apply one particular equation to all situations, it would be wrong almost all the time. It might be close, but it would still be wrong all the time, which was interesting to me. I got a thing down here for bypass factor, which is, I guess, the amount of air that's bypassing your cooling coil and just never touching anything, because you got to figure air is small and it's going to go in between the fins without touching the fins or the tubes or anything, like a big chunk of the air. So you can calculate that. And I don't even know what this stuff, oh, I do know what it means. It says supply air dry bulb minus apparatus dew point, which is the dew point of the coil itself, I think. And then another parentheses, return air dry bulb minus apparatus dew point. So it's a lot of math crap. But it was interesting to see this because it's just laying on the floor. Like it just found its way, like right at the same time Clint's iManifold arrived. It's like just a coincidence, I guess. It's kind of funny. But it was interesting because I was trying to figure out how the iConnect dudes and Jim Bergman originally was calculating airflow without directly measuring it, without measuring like with a vane anemometer or any kind of anemometer. He was using the air humidity and dry bulb and calculating the airflow. So I had this huge function. I remember watching like a couple hours of algebra stuff so I could make this parabola, which is like a curved line, to match some of the data I had found. Like there's this amount of airflow when you have this temperature or enthalpy split, and I kind of matched it with like a curved line, and this is what I came up with. I came up with 7.89x squared minus 166.46x plus 1159.72. That's what I came up with. And then later I learned the actual formula, which is about 1,000 times simpler than that. It was pretty funny. Very, very funny. Math is hilarious. You guys, you know what I'm saying? I also found this. If you look at this, this is Brian Orr's business card. It's a square, guys. It's not even like a rectangle. But I want to ask you a trivia question out there, people who are listening, which is none of you. What is on the back of Brian Orr's business card? What do you think is on the back of it? Now, this business card's a couple years old because I got it at the AHRA. So tell me what you think was on the back of this business card at the time when I got it. I'll be curious. I'm going to go back up and read some chat stuff. It says, old Clint Glasgow. That's right. He sent this cool stuff. Let's go looking down. Zach's your hero, Eddie. Thank you. It's my pleasure, Eddie. If there's a burning building, I'll be happy to carry you out of it. You know, just depending on your weight. I'm pretty strong, but there are limits. Let's just read through here. Zach, do you recommend iManifold for an apprentice? Nah, probably not. It's too expensive for an apprentice. Now, okay, we went through this era of improvement where things were skyrocketing. You have the old Testo stuff comes out, digital gauges, everything's going up, up, up. We got the iManifold. It's expensive, and now it's kind of settled back down. Like there was a compromise, like there's lower prices, but it's not quite the NASA equipment like the iManifold was, the distance-wise and all the stuff that it does. But you can pretty much get everything you need to get out of our regular HVAC probes now. I mean, I got the YJack probes. People had the Philippines probes, Testo probes. A lot of times, and I think this is why Jim Bergman, after he left the iManifold or was asked to leave or whatever, why he focused on the app instead of the equipment, because the app's the brain of the whole thing. The app does all the thinking. All the equipment has to do is give the app some information, and then the app does all the thinking for you. So it's pretty interesting that way. I think that's why he did that. I think it's a smart move because that way you're never saddled down by hardware restrictions. You just can create the brain, and the hardware can come to you. I think it's really, really smart. Okay, I'm going to keep reading down. Frylock says, I didn't get any probes until the third year, I think. Prefer to use analog. Well, if you have an apprentice that wants like some pretty nice stuff, I mean, the Philpies probes, if you don't care about measure quick, then you can use the YJack probes. I like the YJack probes. I like, I carry a few calculations around in the old supercomputer up here, and I don't use all the stuff that Measure Quick does because I don't think it applies to most situations. But there will be situations that the old supercomputer can't handle that Measure Quick could have, for sure. But I just don't think it's as necessary, especially if you've been around for a while. Not that I'm some kind of genius. I think I proved it on the show that I am not. But if you've been around for a while, you know which things you need, which things you don't, and you probably have a lot of it in your brain pan. Let's see here. R134A. I have the Yellow Jacket man tooth probes, micron gauge. Yeah, the man tooth probes, I mean, they were like the first generation of these whole things that came out like with the first testo probes and stuff. It's like, okay, we also have wireless probes. So the iManifold comes out like a howitzer, and all these people come in with BB guns. It's like, yeah, we can still shoot stuff, but it's not the same. It's not as powerful. It's not as intellectual as far as the brains of the app. I mean, this was elite. This was like, I want to say earth-shaking, because how can air conditioning crap be earth-shaking? But it was as earth-shaking as we get. And then it kind of released all these probes, which did some stuff. And then now you have them using the probes and doing more and more stuff as time goes by. Let's see here. Yeah, but that's the Mantooth. That's part of I think the old series of gauges. It just meets the criteria of being wireless and not much, because you can't go very far. It's like the first testo probes or the second testo probes, or that what's that awful one? What's the green gauges? I can't remember what they're called now. Anyway, they're awful. It's probably best to be out of your memory. Let's see. Brian is a square. A picture of him and his 68 children. Okay, on the back of the business card is what people are answering here. PT chart. Oh, that's good, Lionel. PT chart. His headshot. That's funny. A picture of Eddie. I want a picture of Eddie. Let's see here. Okay, so it's actually the psychometric chart, which I think makes perfect sense for Brian. Psychometric chart. So you can look at the back of it, and even has some lines on it. Evaporator stage 1, stage 2 in. I can't really read it because I had to take my glasses off, and it's just a big chore because my headphones are on. So I like Brian. Brian's a fun guy. He's a fun guy. They are... Oh, Revco. Dude, you're right on the money, everything HVACR. The Revco ones were the worst. It's like if we had to pick the worst probe, and no offense to Revco. Is that right? Revco. REF, Revco. Yeah. The Revco probes were like the worst. They were the worst distance. One of them, I think, broke because I was watching HVAC in South Carolina on YouTube, and he had the Revco probes. I actually sent him a set of Revco probes to horse around with, and he used them, and they were broke already, like the first time. And the distance was like 10, 15 foot. I mean, he went around a bush and was disconnected. It was horrible. It was really, really horrible. Really, really bad. But I think they win the award for the worst. Were they $150 too? Okay, I guess that's why they were $150. They were the cheapest as well. Although I think some of them were like, the testo probes were like $200 at the beginning, weren't they? I don't know. Frylock says the Generation 1 testos were awful on range and lost connection almost constantly. They were bad on range. But they were better than Revco to me because the app, even the first testo app, had a few cool things about it. I believe it had cooling power and heating power, which I guess it's capacity or whatever. I don't know if it had any electrical stuff. I don't think it did. But now a lot of them have electrical stuff and everything. And we actually have a caller on air. Okay. Hey, Dallas has the Revco, man. Are they still awful? Or are that the same ones or what, Dallas? You are on the air.
Hey, Zach, the Testo Smart Probes were $220 for the entire set when they first came out.
Albert, are you the one that had one overheat? Was that you?
Yeah, that's when I had the
remember.
YouTube channel, and I had bought them, and Ralph was like, you got to get the Sportland Smart Probes. the Smorlin. He was all about the Smorlin ones.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I got to test those, and I tried them, and after like 3 months, one of them exploded. It overheated, and the batteries burst out of it. And then I went to the Smorlin Smart Probes, and those were good, but they failed. For the price, they failed probably as fast as my Testos did. I had an issue with one not reading temperature. One, the battery wouldn't read anymore, so it didn't matter how many batteries you put in it. It would kill the battery within an hour.
Oh, geez. Well, that kind of stinks. I always thought they were like more durable than the Testo
And then I
ones.
went back to the Testos when they went into the long range Testos, where they actually you could go more than 5 feet away from the condenser.
Yep.
And those were fine too. Those actually ended up working for about 2 years, and now I'm on the Field Piece Job Links, and I'm probably the most happiest with the Job Links.
Yeah, as I recall, I did a range test of the Generation 2 Testo probes, and I did it at the ballpark. And I know the Testo probes were like maybe 30 or 40 foot past second base. So second base is 120 feet, I think. So maybe 150 feet, 160 feet. And the Job Links, I actually walked out of the park and couldn't go any farther because there was a ditch on the outside of center field. So they were really good.
Yeah, in that ditch, you probably found my first generation Smart Probes.
There's a whole pile of I-manifolds in that ditch. I don't know how they got there. It's like 2 truck tires and a bunch of I-manifolds.
Are they still producing software for the iManifold? Because I remember Stephen Reardon was the biggest proponent of it, and but I don't even think he uses that anymore.
No, I think whenever they fired Bergman or whatever happened with them and Bergman, the impression is they fired him. I think Stephen was such a fan of Jim Bergman that he kind of lost faith in the whole apparatus and went away from it. But I think they're still providing stuff for the hardware because it's on sale at TrueTech.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I just figured when Bergman left, and he was basically the brainchild behind these formulas that kind of that drive the system, that they were going to stop doing updates on. And the question was, hey, I've got these $1,000 tools. What do I do with them now? Jim Bergman's gone. Are they going to continue to upgrade them? And I never even followed up on that. I didn't know if they continue to put software releases on it.
I know that whenever Bergman left, now he had a real good thing going with their app, and they revamped the app, and a lot of guys did not like it. And I didn't really look at it after they revamped it, but a lot of guys hated it. But I never knew if that was because of Bergman left and they just disliked the whole franchise now, or whether it was just a really bad app. But I don't think it has ever been as good as when he left. That's the impression that I get from other people. But like, I haven't used it. If I get these things behind me to start working, I'll try it out. But I haven't used it in years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the real downfall to it was too expensive for the numbers it gave you. It gave you some really specific hard numbers, which were obviously better than like the Testos or the Sporlins or even Job Links. But for the type of work that we do, you don't really need that. I mean, hell, you were using what were you calling that little tool you were using? It was just a meter gauge with a 2-inch hose.
Oh, you talking about a Z manifold?
The Z manifold.
Yeah, it was mimicking the I manifold, and then I got digital versions with stubs on them, and I called them the Z Connect.
Yeah, I remember. We're reaching back in the days here when you were messing with that, because you were purchasing. Man, I remember you were buying a bunch of different tools. You were messing around with all these different tools, and one day you said, like, "Yeah, I'm getting rid of all these tools. I've bought too many tools."
Yeah. I'm going through that again now with power tools. But yeah, I mean, you get to a point where you're thinking about, okay, this is going to make me better. This is going to make me better. And you start thinking about it. It's like, I've surrounded myself with about 1,000 extra distractions. What do I actually need to do this job?
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, some guys are saying that they swear by, I'm going to go with analog. There's still that crowd that says, I'm not jumping over to digital. I mean, it's been a couple of years now. I mean, it used to be, if you had an apprentice first in the business, give them analog, let them learn to do the calculations the old way, and then eventually he could graduate to the smart probes or to just better tools. And my opinion, everybody's going to be a little bit different, but mine's is, you know what, I don't care if you've been in the business for 1 month, because those smart probes can only help you do your job better. You may not completely understand the first year what they're calculating, but when you go out do maintenances, when you're touching new equipment, it'll get you to a resolution faster. So I think that everybody should have digital tools, should have some sort of tool that's going to give them to that aha moment faster.
You know, I tend to agree with you now, Albert. I used to think about using the analog gauges on anyone that was new, and now I think it's just a reflection of the modern era, where it's like saying that we're going to get a computer, but we're going to learn how to use a typewriter first. I mean, I don't think it's necessary anymore, because now we have almost complete coverage of digital tools. I think, well, they're available to everybody now. If you want some, you can get some. There's smart probes that are cheap. You can buy them individually. A lot of times, I think Philippines stuff, you can go buy like one pressure probe at a time if you want to. And a lot of them are like that. So I think they're pretty much available to everybody. So I don't think you have to go back to analog now. I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, think of it this way. The smart probes, doesn't matter the manufacturer, are always going to be cheaper than a really good meter. You go buy a fluke meter, it's going to be a lot more expensive than buying some smart probes. And the meter, if you're going to invest money, I would invest money on a meter versus manifolds, like the eye manifolds, I mean. I would get myself a good fluke meter and then complement it with some decent smart probes of whatever brand you want to get, just something that's not going to be that Revco.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. They are the worst. Oh, man. But everybody came out with a pair. I noticed this. Whenever you look around the dark parts of the internet, you'll see that every company came out with a pair of these smart probes, and a lot of them are just like a copy of another pair of smart probes. So, I mean, everybody had these things popping up everywhere. But I'm curious, which meter do you use?
The meter I use, I have a fluke.
Which one?
I don't have it on me. I mean, it's in my tool bag. I forget. I don't know what the part number is.
Is it clamp?
It does everything you need to do. It does microfarads, microamps. It's true RMS, but I don't know what the model number is.
It is a clamp meter, though, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Okay. That's
With
nice.
the red clamp on it, all yellow. I used to use the G2 Phoenix, the UEI.
Yeah, the UEI
Phoenix.
one.
Those worked really good for me for a long time. I got a deal on these. I got a deal on this fluke, and you know they were like, "Hey man, give me $150. You can take them." It was a technician who went and bought himself like $1,000 worth of tools, and then the paycheck hit him, and he ended up having to sell some of his tools. And I hate taking advantage of people like that, but at the time I was like, "Man, a fluke meter for $150, I'll take them." And I've had them now for 5 years. No, I've had them for about 6 or 7 years. Because I got them before I started my business. So, yeah, probably about 6 or 7 years. And they're fantastic.
They really are. The only fluke, well, I might have had two of them, but I remember the last one I had was that 902 FC, which was really, really good, the clamp meter. It didn't have a whole lot of features. It was just really, really nice and durable meter. Really good meter. But I tell you what, man, my favorite multimeter of all time will always be the Field Piece SC57. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love it. They don't even make them anymore.
that was a really good meter.
I like it, man. You know what? I talked to the Field Piece lady. I'm like, I love this meter. Do you possibly have an SC57 laying in the back of the warehouse somewhere, like in a pile of old stock or something? I would love to have one. And she's like, no, but you know what? The closest thing to that meter is if you buy an SC480. So they said that was the closest one of all the new ones. So I was like, all right, well, that's good. But I'll tell you something else. If Brent Ridley listens to this show, he has an SC57 he's supposed to send me, and has supposed to send me this meter for the last 1 year. And I love Brent, but send me that meter, Brent. All right.
Yeah. If you're listening, Brent, send him a meter. And send me whatever meter you're not using so I can have a backup meter.
Well, he's got a redfish. I sent him the redfish, and he's going to give me the SC57.
Yeah. So you, who was it? It wasn't you. Was it Steven that did the redfish, the big redfish review on it?
The actual redfish, like the clamp meter?
Yeah. When it first came out, it was like the big thing. I remember, I forgot who it was. I couldn't tell if it was him or if it was NorCal. I don't think NorCal did it.
It was probably Steven, because that was attached to the iManifold stuff. Not the iManifold, but the MeasureQuick stuff. So he was a big follower of Jim Bergman, so that would have been natural for him to want to do that review because they were hooked up with MeasureQuick.
Yeah, and MeasureQuick, I have the app and I never use it. I don't use it for anything. I mean, most of the time I just use my smart probes. I get my subcool, my superheat. I check my amp readings. I check my airflow. I use my field pieces for everything. I just never use the Measure Quick app. I know a lot of guys do, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing out on some sort of opportunity with it. But I don't know, man. It seems like it's just an extra thing to do. The work I'm doing, the service work I'm doing, I just don't need that. I need to know exactly what the enthalpy line is going to be on anything.
Yeah, that sounds like bonus information. But I don't know. I haven't used Measure Quick in a long time, so I'd probably want to fire it up again. But I don't have any meters that would hook up with Measure Quick or any equipment that hooks up with Measure Quick, so there's no point in me even thinking about it yet. But I would be interested to try it again because it's been 2 or 3 years since I haven't fired that up.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm going to jump off here. I'm not going to do like I did last 2 times I called where it was like 40 minutes, and as soon as I hang up, you're like, yeah, we're wrapping up the show. I'm going to give the opportunity to some other guys to talk in the comments and call in as well.
Albert, anytime, man. You can talk as long as you want. By the time you were done last time, I was just tired, and I had to go home.
Yeah, well, shoot, I think that night, I got home like at 11 o'clock that night. Man, we ran 2 maintenances after I hung up with you, and we hit a service call, and it was a mystery leak. And it was, they were like, a company came out, added refrigerant the day before. It's completely out again today. And so normally I was like, okay, that's a high side leak. That leak is somewhere in the condenser. And, man, we looked and looked and looked and looked, finally found it in a wall in the bathroom of the master suite where it's coming up. We were out there for like 3 hours looking for this leak.
Oh, man. What kind of leak was it? Was it somebody put a picture through the wall with a nail or something? What happened?
No, it was just a nail that had been sticking out and had been rubbing on it for about 3 years. The house was only 3 years old. And it finally just kind of rubbed a hole into it. And what I ended up having to do to find it, because, when it's behind the wall, it's hard to find, was I had my son on the second floor. We kind of figured out where it was running through the walls on the first and second floor. And I cranked that. It was, whatever it was leaking out. I cranked like 400 PSI of nitrogen in that thing. And finally, my son's like, I think I hear it in this wall. I hear something kind of tapping. And so we went ahead and cut open the drywall and found it right there.
You heard that nail fly out of the wall. Pew!
Yeah. Yeah, but you see, and then talking about tools real quick, I still use torches, oxyacetylene. I don't even use the turbo torch. But at some point, I think I want to go ahead and move on to the press tool.
Really? Yeah, I've used that press tool before, or at least the RLS version of it. And I've always been oxygen acetylene my whole life. So that's always what I've been used to. Why do you want to move to the press tool?
Well, this one, you don't come across those too often where they're behind a wall, but this one where it was coming through, it was so close, and it was really hard to solder this thing and not catch the whole house on fire.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? That's all right. You don't have to use it all the time. You can just use it whenever you really want to, I guess. So, yeah. That's a good idea.
They're still new, and they've been in the business for 3 years, and they can solder like stuff on the outside. I still, like, if we have an install that they're doing on a Saturday, I still come out and do all the solder points. I don't let them do too much torch work unless I'm out there supervising them, because they've got 3 years in the business, but that's just a thing. I kind of walk away from it, and that's where an accident can happen. And so I'm thinking what I might do is get them press tools so that they can do it, and only when they're using it, because how often are they going to be, trying to solder something or do a repair leak? That's just the way I'm going to be on it, because I'd rather have that ability for them to be able to do it and not have to worry about a fire. And if something happens where they don't crimp it right and we have a leak, you come back and you run that call back and you fix the leak, and you figure out where they're going wrong, why it leaked on them, and then get them to fix it, how to crimp it correctly. And I have never used the tool, so it would be a learning curve for me to begin with. But for them, at least, I don't have to worry about them messing with fire in a crawl space in an attic or, somebody's yard near mulch.
My question is, how do you train them? Like, if you want them to be proficient on oxygen and acetylene, and y'all work pretty much every single day, just about speaking for yourself, how do you train them, and improve them? Where do you find time for that?
Well, this is like right now. So you know how gas is. The reason I was in the truck with them the other day, and for this whole week, and probably the next 2 weeks, is that gas is so high. It gets kind of expensive to run 3 Dodge Rams at the same time to do maintenance. So what I'll do is and that's why I was actually running a little later, because we were taking maintenances, because I'm taking the maintenances for 3 guys, me and 2 of my sons, and we're running them out of 1 truck. So we're a little bit faster on it, but that's the only time I have time to work with them, on those and on Saturdays. On Saturdays, if there's an install, I have to be on the job site, and that's a North Carolina thing. I know most guys would say, if you've got an install crew, just leave them alone. But I mean, technically, I'm supposed to be on there since we're the license holder. You're supposed to be there for the install.
Do they still have journeyman classes, 1 and 2?
I don't know.
Because journeyman used to be able to stay on the job site. Because, yeah, you're right. The license holder has to be presiding over the job and has to be present unless there's a journeyman present. That's what it used to be, but I don't know what it is now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know that that's what it was with the big company I used to work for.
Mm-hmm.
All the lead installers had that journeyman classification, so they could be on the job site doing the installs. But I'm the only license holder here, and these guys, they don't have enough hours under their belt yet to even try to apply. I still need them to learn how to do all the level 2 repairs. Low voltage really kicks their butt, which is fine. It's kicked everybody's butt, but you know, I always just tell them, you know, start from the basics. But I really do got to jump off here, Zach. Always a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you next time.
Yes, sir. All right.
Later, man. Our buddy Albert right there. Yeah, it used to be in North Carolina, you would have the license holder, and I have an H3 license which is up to 15 tons of air conditioning, and I've had that since 1999. Since 99, they split the classification into 2 separate H3s. I don't know when they did that, but because I already had mine, it didn't apply to me. But at the time when I came up, originally I was going to get a journeyman card because there's J1 and J2, and I forget what the separation was. I don't remember. But we were taking a journeyman class. Something came up. We couldn't finish the class, so we ended up just getting into H3, my brother and I. So we did that. And I've been that ever since, so I never had to worry about this. But I know you had to have the journeyman on site when you were doing work like that. As far as install, I don't think that applies to service. I think that was just installation. All right, let's see here. Let me go back to the comments because I know I missed a bunch of them here. Zach just lost his Measure Quick sponsorship. I like Measure Quick. Honestly, I really do have to try it again because it's been a long time and I don't have anything that works with it, so I have no idea. But I know they probably had about 50,000 app updates since the last time I checked it. If I were to have the app on my phone and I've kept it this whole time and never opened it, I'm pretty sure the update would last about an hour and a half. How can you breathe and not gag and cough in a place with exposed fiberglass? I don't know. I think I've been a great friend to exposed fiberglass throughout my life, but you do have a point, and I need to cover these walls ASAP, and I acknowledge that. You're absolutely right. Bergman just wrote your name in his little black book. Perhaps. I don't know. I always liked Bergman. When I was making this sheet right here that I showed you at the beginning of the show, guys, talking about all these math formulas, Bergman was part of this. He sent me some information whenever I was working on this, because I remember I was living in Burgaw, town nearby, and he was emailing me like a psychometric chart or something like that. It was some information packet. I can't remember what it is. James Patrick says, bend a piece of metal behind the line set. Yep, used to do that with stuff in the wall. I think Dallas said spray gel. The time that I always remember when I think about brazing in a wall, I sprayed so much gel in that wall, the wall was insulated from the gel. There was a lot of it. I sprayed it heavily. We used a lot of it. Dallas uses an acetylene-only torch. Cool. All right. I've used those a couple times. I had like a little MC tank, and I had like a little torch that went with that. I used it a couple times, but I just, you get so used to a certain thing, and you just stick with it. That's all it is. Nothing wrong or right about it. John McMaster, welcome to the show. I think John bought my iManifold, if I remember correct. I think so. Hey, look, John, I got another one. This one's broken, though. Sell it to you for $500. No. Clint gave me this right here for those of you who joined later on. He sent it out to me. It's a broken iManifold with a couple probes, and I'm going to tinker around with it. We'll see if we can't get it to work or whatever, whenever I have time, which will be never, when my kids leave and go to college. And actually, John McMaster was buying my iManifold right around that same time. It was funny because I'm an iConnect person. I like the mobility of it. Again, iConnect is just, it's like taking the guts here, the brain of this thing, that receives all the signals from the different probes and separating it from all the gauge hose connections and making those individual wireless probes. That's all it was. but I think the iConnect is still the best, the absolute best wireless gauges that have ever been made. But they cost a lot. And I heard several years ago, Joe, you were at the AHR several years ago, that they were going to release like a lower price version of this stuff. I don't think that ever came out, unless just everything they release now is a lower price version. I don't know. I really don't. I was promising that we were going to look at this manual thing. I don't know how much we're going to get into because we're at 40 minutes already. If anyone wants to call in, you can. I'll put a little thing on the screen. I'm going to talk sponsor stuff. Let me do the sponsor stuff first before we do that. Before we say call in, because we don't want to call in the middle of it. Then the sponsors will be angered. And we don't want that. We want Zach on the air. So there's our NAVAC sponsor, empowering you to work smarter, navacglobal.com. A lot of the products you guys like. New battery platform. You see the Uzi, as I call it, the NAVAC Uzi, which is a battery-powered expander. They have a battery-powered flaring tool, which works very well. I've used that a few times myself. And their other products, their regular hydraulic expander, a lot of their stuff, the vacuum pumps, the battery-powered pumps, I love those. They're just really, really good, and they're at TrueTech Tools, and you can use our Shop Talk discount code at TrueTechTools.com and save 8% off any of your purchases, which don't just mean just NAVAC, just anything you want to buy at TrueTech Tools. I think there's a few exclusions, if I remember. I don't remember which ones, but there's like 2 or 3% of the products there that don't apply to it. But you know what? Don't worry about that. Just make your order, then pump in the code there, and we'll go from there. So that's a Shop Talk discount code at TrueTechTools.com. Something else that's sold at TrueTech Tools is refrigeration technology stuff. Big Blue leak detector, their coil cleaners. They have Nylog thread sealants. They have just a variety of HVAC chemicals, and they are the best. You can find out more at refridgetech.com, or again, buy it at TrueTechTools.com. Our friends at Company Cam, and I love to read this part. The only app every contractor needs. Document your jobs, communicate with your crews, cover your company's butt. Collect all the pictures and data from your jobs and consolidate it into one area, and it will link up with other apps that you use like House Call Pro or Jobber. So you can consolidate a lot of your stuff, leave the headache behind. It's like Calgon, take me away. Company Cam, take me away. Find out more at companycam.com. We have the new YJack manometers, which I'm looking forward to next month. Yellowjacket.com, you can find out more about this stuff. They have a brand new recovery machine, which is still sitting in my room with the box around it. I will open it up. We will bring it out. I don't know when it'll be. I'm no longer going to promise it's tomorrow because I've said that twice and it's still in the box. But they have a whole lot of cool products coming out. This expansion on the screen here, the YJack Mano, is going to go with the rest of the YJack probes, their wireless system, and it should be really cool. And I am looking forward to it. And I wanted to say it was going to be a dual port, but it's hard to tell from the screen here. Maybe it's not. I don't want to speak too soon. Oh, no, there it is. Dual port manometer. It is dual port, which I like that too. And I'll be curious to see what kind of stuff comes in the kit for that thing. It's exciting. Last but not least, EWC Controls Incorporated, EWCcontrols.com, all the zoning products for forced air systems that you need. Zone dampers, they have wireless thermostats, Wi-Fi thermostats, a variety of zone panels that are highly customizable, from the staging to the timing to whatever. Even a communicating zone panel, I have used that one myself, and it has about a zillion different ways you can customize it for communicating systems. It doesn't apply to every communicating system, but certain protocols do utilize the EWC panel. I don't want to say what it is because I'm almost positive I know the name of it, but because I can't quite be positive, I'm not going to say the protocol, but you'll have to check with your equipment provider. I know that Amana, it worked for that. Thus, it works for Goodman. And thus, it works for Ream, because I think they're on the same protocol. But again, don't speak too soon, Zach, or you'll be found stupid. All right, hey. Let's see here. John, we have cooling. We have R134A, just checking back on our chat here. Got Nylog White last week and got retailed 18 versus 11 at TrueTech. Oh, wow. Big difference. Man, oh, man. Mike Bemko says, usually Fluke and Testo don't work with the discounts. Oh, interesting. Okay. AWC has great manuals. Absolutely. And we're actually getting a phone call here. All right, let's answer the phone. We're not getting to this manual today, but that's all right, guys. Hello, you're on the air.
Hold on.
Wow, that was really loud. What was that? Some kind of nuclear bomb or something?
My Bluetooth.
Are you in Ukraine?
No, I'm in Ellsworth, Wisconsin, cheese curd capital of the world.
Oh, I thought they say about Ellsworth, Wisconsin, it's the Ukraine of the world. No, I don't know. That doesn't apply at all.
Is it Ukraine the Ukraine of the world?
I think probably Ukraine is its own location. You are correct. That made very little sense, and I will edit it out, the audio version.
Oh, come on.
Are we kidding? I don't edit nothing. What are you doing, man? This is Brandon Brenny.
Driving home.
Driving home?
I'm riding.
Oh, you're right? Oh, so you're the apprentice today.
Well, it's my van. I drove on the way here. It's like an hour and a half drive home, so I'm going to make the other guy drive like the way home so I can take a nap.
And hey, now you're calling the show. There goes your nap, man.
Yeah, it's okay. It's an hour and a half.
Plenty of time. All right, so you're an hour and a half from home. That's a big service area.
And we don't normally go this far, but this is our salesman's brother's cheese curd factory.
Wow. It's a salesman's brother's what kind of factory?
Cheese curds. They make cheese curds.
That is so stereotypical of your region. Really, a cheese factory. You're going to the cheese factory. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, what is a
Wisconsin.
cheese curd? What is that?
Cheese curd? Just
Yeah.
a big hunk of cheese.
Oh, okay. Well, that's simple. I said, what was wrong with the cheese curd factory?
Oh, they're adding on.
Oh, so it's installation.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Oh, is
I'm
it like
too
a
out of
big
shape.
job?
I'm too out of shape for this.
What is it, did you find out today, like hanging ductwork on the ceiling or something? How did you ascertain how out of shape you were?
Yeah, we're hanging ductwork all week. We've been hanging duct, and I'm not a fan of hanging duct anymore.
I don't blame you. I'm not a fan of it either. So, I mean, how'd you get roped into doing an installation? I know you're the jack of all trades there, so you just happened to be the guy picked or what?
Well, I did commercial sheet metal for like 7 years, and I'm like the only guy at the shop that has like that much experience in commercial sheet metal.
Oh, you know what's interesting? I had a comment on YouTube like today or yesterday and said that sheet metal and ductwork were his least favorite parts of the trade. Like at the
I don't
bottom.
remember commenting that, but yes.
So he's correct. Flexing the crawl space, worst part of the trade. That's the worst part of the trade, I think, probably.
We don't have to do that.
Oh, that's right. There's
We
no
have
flex.
basements.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, there's no flex and there's no crawl space. Well, certainly you probably have like a basement and like there's a small crawl in some of these houses or something, right?
Okay, rarely.
I just need this. I just need this because when I look at my house, it's just a 2.5 foot crawl space with a bunch of spiders. That's all I get.
Now, I have a basement, but in my house, but I still got a duct under the ductwork in my basement.
Yeah, so the inconvenience, you had to slightly lean a little bit to go underneath it. Is that right?
I mean, let's just put it. I mean, my basement's low enough where I couldn't put the wood boiler coil in my basement above my furnace without replacing the furnace because I didn't have enough height. So I had to tear my perfectly good 16-year-old American Standard out to put in a new Bryant because the American Standard was sitting on silo staves. So to gain the extra 5 inches of furnace plus the silo staves so I could get my wood boiler coil and my air conditioning coil above my furnace because the ductwork was too low.
So you have a hot water coil and a HVAC coil. So how big is the hot water coil?
I don't know. It's like 18 by 20, like 4 inches thick.
Oh, wow. So you have like a custom thing going on there, huh?
Well, I mean, I don't know how custom it is. I just got a water coil that I got the outdoor wood boiler that I throw wood in, heats the water, flows in the house above the furnace, and then the furnace fan just kicks on and off to blow heat through the house. Based off of temp, I just got W wired to G on the board.
I like stuff like this idea of like you're going to throw wood in this thing outside and just like a little pump comes on and circulates. And then,
yeah.
How does that work though? Because you're not going to be throwing wood in it all day. So eventually it cuts down, then it cuts back to like a gas furnace
No,
at a certain point.
last winter, I lit my fire October 15th, and it didn't die out until March 15th.
What? How's it run like that?
I mean,
I got to see this thing.
it
Man.
regulates itself. It doesn't burn out all day long. It stays fire. I load it twice a day.
So, I mean, what are you loading it with? Like chunks of wood or these little pellet
Yeah,
things or which kind of
hunks of wet wood that I
Oh.
just cut.
Wow. Man, you gotta like text me a picture of this thing because I mean that's really cool from where I live.
Just Google heat more wood boiler. HEATMOR. Eat more wood boiler. That's what I got.
I will do that. I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah, it's a little, looks like a little tin shed that I throw wood in, and it's got a chimney that sticks up the top, and it basically is a fire pit or firebox inside. It heats a jacket of water up. And then I got lines that run underground into the house. The pump's in the basement. First, it goes through a plate heat exchanger, which exchanges heat with my electric water heater. So in the wintertime, I turn the circuit breaker to the water heater off, and I heat my water with it. And then it goes through the furnace coil, and then it goes back out to the boiler.
Oh, I see these things. I see like the people with the sheds, outdoor wood burner. Yeah, oh, it looks like they make them look like little barns or something.
Yeah. Mine just a little brown pole barn steel on it.
Oh man, look at this thing. A couple of them look like they're outhouses. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. Hey, I burn 10 quart of wood a year and 0 propane.
Oh yeah, propane. Oh yeah, I can understand. Okay.
And then in the wintertime, I could turn my circuit breaker off to my water heater, and my electric bill actually goes down by $35, $40 a month in the wintertime because I can heat wood. The wood will heat my domestic hot water.
That is amazing. That's a really cool thing. So is that common in your area to have one?
I bet, well, around where I live, I bet in the country, I bet every 10th house has one.
Oh, well, that's more than I would have thought. I thought this was some
probably
specialized
not
thing.
that many, really, but
I like it. So does it just like a circulator like a normal boiler would use?
it's just I got a Taco 007 pump on it. That's all I,
Well, that's
like all
one
the
of most
stuff I got,
common
it
ones,
was all used. Stuff I pulled out of other jobs. I didn't pay for any of the stuff.
Oh man, I love it now. Man, this is perfect.
Yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, and then I heat my house. All I got to do is cut wood. But you know what they say, wood heats you twice. Once when you cut it, and once when you burn it.
Yeah, you're right about that. So I don't know how much a cord of wood is. I mean, I don't understand.
4 foot by 8 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot stacked.
That's a lot of wood.
I burned 10 cord.
Hey, how old are you?
36.
36. So what's it like cutting firewood like that? Is there someone else cutting wood with you, or are you the guy?
No, my wife refuses to help.
She got to stand outside then. She got to go
I-
outside in the winter. I mean, she don't want to help.
She doesn't. She said she don't care. She'll burn propane.
Oh man, that's a trip. So
I'm
you
just
cut all that
flexible.
yourself?
Yeah, I cut it all. But my boss lives 4 miles away from me, and he's got like 400 acres of woods. I can just go out there and cut whatever I want. Bring my tractor over there, and I can use that. To, I cut the logs, and then I can throw them. I can scoop them up with the tractor and dump them on the trailer and haul them home.
Man, that's nice. So what? You like a farmer? You got a tractor?
No,
you got a
I have
wood
a
burning
tractor.
thing? You got some cows, like a sheep or something?
No, I have two. I have 2 poodles, and that's it.
Oh yeah, I remember the poodles. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
But no, I just got an old. It's a Farmall 560. It's like a 60-year-old tractor
that's
with a
even
loader
better.
on it.
I love those old tractors, man. They're like classic cars almost.
I have a couple of them too.
What do you got?
I got a 78 F250 that's all fixed up and repainted and restored. And then I got a 64 International Harvester C11. It's a half-ton pickup, 4-wheel drive pickup that I just started to restore a month or 2 ago. I just started on it. Just got it running for the first time in 5 years. A month ago.
What kind of motor is in the one in the 60s model stuff?
It's a 241 cubic inch inline 6.
What about the 78?
That's got a 460 V8.
Now, that's not what it originally had.
Yeah, it is. It's
Is
an F250.
It was a
3/4 ton.
460 originally? Wow.
Well, the 78. The 60 came with that 241 inline 6.
That's interesting.
But it also has a 3-speed under column manual.
Right. Oh man, that's really, because 70s when the gas crisis came, and then we got great things like the Mustang 2 out of that. So I was kind of wondering if they would downsize the motors, because I never really was familiar with the motors in the trucks in the 70s.
Well, you could have got that very same pickup with a 300 cubic inch inline 6.
Yeah, but who would want that? I mean, if you have a 460 or whatever.
I mean, I get 8 or 9 miles to the gallon with that truck.
I think that's good enough with a 460 cubic inch. Oh, that's huge. That's really big. Well, it's larger than those Firebirds were like 454s or something. They were huge too. That's even bigger than that one.
There's Cadillacs at 502s.
Good grief, man! What a beast. Luxury and style. So you go riding around town in that?
Well, it's wintertime. I ain't taking it out in the salt. It ain't coming out till May.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, because we don't. If our roads get salted, it's maybe once every 3 years during some sort of blizzard or 1 inch of snow is what I'm saying by blizzard. So yours stays that way all year. I mean, how often do you have snow coating the ground where you're at?
It snowed today at noon. It was snowing.
So it's already, it's still snowing. Wow. God.
Well, no, the snow's gone now. I mean, I ain't got no snow on the ground here now, except for like one pile in my yard where I plowed it.
You know, it's 82 here right now.
It is 42 here.
Well, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Oh man,
it's raining like crazy.
Oh man, I'm glad we got that last night. These huge storms. The storms were so bad coming through here last night that Steve Demansky, one of the other guys that listen to this show, sent me a text and said they're coming. That's all it says. It's like very ominous. Like what? He sends me a picture of this like big orange blob right next to my house, and it arrived true to form. It was a lot of thunder.
It's been raining all week here, and everything's just soaked.
It's depressing. It's
depressing. It's supposed to be 60s this weekend, I think, but I'll be at a dance competition all weekend.
Oh, dance competition. Well, I hope you win. I mean, what are you doing?
No. Watching my daughter.
Okay, well that's more appropriate. Okay.
No, I'm not dancing. No. Dance is expensive though. Holy crap.
HVAC not paying enough. Oh, hey man, you might have to go into dancing because of all the high prices of just like the groceries and everything. You do a little extra dancing on the weekend.
I know nobody wants to see this.
Oh man, that's the problem with HVAC guys. No one wants to watch them dance. Oh man, so was it like a ballet competition or something?
Oh, she's doing. What does she do? She does a hip hop song and she's doing a lyrical song. I don't know.
Oh, so hip hop.
Dancing with a group of kids. Yeah, okay. They're doing a Spice Girls song.
Spice Girls, man, that's the good old days. I remember Spice Girls. They're still around. Yeah, those Spice Girls are still around. They're on TV still. I saw a Scary Spice the other day on like the show where they pick talented people, like America's Got Talent. One of those Spice Girls is on that show.
Oh, my sister and my wife were both into it when they were little.
Yeah, I guess y'all would have been younger. Yeah, y'all would have been like 10 or something.
No, my sister is 5 years younger. Yeah, she's 31, so. Yeah, she was little. I remember she loved it. My wife was into it. She went to a Spice Girls concert.
Good grief. I knew a girl that loved the Spice Girls, too. Spice Girls and Hanson. I was like, good grief. Blah.
I remember Hanson, all the long hair.
Yeah, those 3 blonde brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Man, we need to talk about air conditioning or something now.
Oh, so, yeah.
What are you doing tomorrow?
Going back to this cheese fruit factory.
How long are you going to be there?
I should finish all the ductwork tomorrow, and then I got some mechanical stuff to do on the furnace, zoning, wiring, the gas piping. Finish the job up. I got Friday off because of the dance thing, and then Monday we'll finish the job up. It'll be roughed in.
So you usually do 5 days a week. You don't do much on the weekend unless you have like an on-call situation?
Yeah, I'm on call every 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. Been around for a while. Should have benefit of not working on the weekend as much as possible.
I don't think I've ever worked a weekend in the last 5.5 years.
Really? So even when you're on call, you never get calls?
Oh, other than on call. I mean, we don't do jobs on weekends ever.
I mean, I like that. I mean, I know it's weird because, Albert called before you. Albert works 7 days a week. And when he talks about it, he's like, it's no big deal. If I work 7 days a week, I would probably be on top of a building somewhere threatening to jump. So it's weird.
I ain't going to work 7 days a week. I got family stuff. That's more important than working.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Wait a second. Something's coming back to me now. Brandon, you listened to the whole Bible on audio tape?
I did.
Hey, I'm glad I remembered that. So you listened to the entire Bible on audio tape. I hope Beaver's still in the comments. So, I mean, I'm just curious. I mean, now that you completed that, I don't know how long ago that was. I mean, what's your thought process after, from beginning to end, exit and entrance of this whole process?
So I got it on Audible, and I listened to the Old Testament as the King James version, and that was absolute torture.
Yeah.
Absolutely torture, because it was free. And then for the New Testament, I said, I'm going to pay for the New Testament. So I'm Catholic, so I paid for the Catholic version, and that was a lot more tolerable. Well,
Oh.
the New Testament's better anyway, but well, that was just a lot more tolerable listening to the Catholic version.
Yeah, I can't do King James. I can't understand thee, thou,
Oh.
theeth, thouth, thou. I can't do that.
It was rough. Like, there was a lot of times where I just took a break for a while and listened to something else because I just couldn't do it no more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you one bit. I can't. I have a Bible that is, what's it called? The Every Man's Bible, I think. It's the most basic language you can possibly use. And because I can't
next
understand
time I listen to the Bible, I'll pay for it for the Old Testament.
it. So did it have a grand effect on your life?
I mean, I've at least listening to the Old Testament was tough to even get any education out of.
Yeah, you got to
But-
do that again without that King James stuff, though. I mean, that's horrible.
Yeah, but the New Testament, I can remember hearing all this stuff in church, the Gospels and stuff, and it really reminded me of a lot of stuff because I don't know, like as a kid, I was always grew up Catholic. We went to church every week and stuff, but as an adult now, I feel like I'm finding it more important to my life. So I've been trying the last few years. I've been trying to go to church a lot more and stuff. And,
Yeah.
and it's just, I don't know. 'Cause I'd never read the Bible. So I thought, I need to just actually do it. I'm never going to actually be able to read it because I don't have time to just sit down and read the Bible. But
It's tough. I'm still working on the actual reading part, and it's been a year and a half. Sorry.
well, that's why I listen to it, because I can put that in my ear and work all day. And then I can.
That's good. I mean, it's good to have that. I mean, I've seen the audio versions of stuff, and I should probably just listen to it anyway. Because sometimes when I read stuff, I get distracted anyway, and I got to end up reading it again. I'm not the most focused person sometimes, so it helps to do things 2 times or 3 times. But that was interesting that I remember that you said you had done that. And yeah, the King James is just too hard. It's almost like that one doesn't count at the beginning, although you listen to it, so I'm not saying it didn't count the time you put into it, but it made it just easier to understand.
0 5 stars would not recommend. Not do.
Yeah, it's
Definitely don't read that version because it's so hard to understand.
Yeah, I agree. I just can't do it. I can't do it at all.
I don't feel like I got anything out of it, honestly.
See, that's the worst part because I know there's good stuff because I'll read stuff and sometimes I got to read it more than once, and sometimes I skip certain things and come back because it's confusing or difficult to read. Even in my Bible, it's confusing and difficult to read. But then I'll run into something that's like, oh, that's why it happened later. That's what they were talking about in the New Testament. Then it kind of ties back in, and it's better to understand. So you get to listen to it again, I guess.
Well, I mean, I only had Audible for the 1 year, so I'm gonna have to pay for it to get that actually downloaded again.
Yeah, I might do that myself actually, just so I can kind of listen to it when I'm driving around. Because I'm like you, it's like finding time to do it, or like actually thinking about it when you have the time to do it. It'd be easier just to be in the car and do it. Like you have an hour and a half. I'm pretty sure you could listen to a whole book or 2 in an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, it was between the whole Bible was 80 something hours of listening.
Oh yeah, so what is 50 books 50 books in the Bible? So maybe hour and a half, 2 each one, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have this feeling that it's segue time. I feel that way in my heart. So I'll let you get back to listening to the Bible. You should put it on with your guy riding and put the King James version on and see his face cringe up when he's like, I don't know what these guys saying.
I don't know how much you'd appreciate that. Matt, you want to listen to the King James version of the Bible? No, he said no.
At least he just said no. He didn't add any swear words or anything like that. So that's good. That's a victory. No. But all right, well, I'm gonna start wrapping things up, dude. I appreciate you calling. Definitely call in again because now you can call and you don't have to worry about the internet, so you're good to go.
Hey, they put lines in across the highway from my house today. My wife just sent me a picture of the equipment sitting on the opposite side of the highway from my house with all the equipment to pierce lines under the highway. They weren't supposed to do that till 2024. I guess they're doing it this year.
Hey, does that mean you're actually going to be able to get that internet?
I mean, it'll be charter. I don't know if I want charter because charter sucks, but
yeah.
But that'll be my only choice. I got to pay for charter if I want it.
That's usually what happens. You have one choice, or you get some kind of satellite stuff, and that's it.
Yeah. So I might end up having to pay for it. My wife's pretty upset about no internet for the last 5 years that we lived here.
Oh yeah, she'll like the internet, and then your wife can binge watch shows on TV, and she'll be so happy that you never see her again.
Then I go through the set.
Then it'll be sad too. It'll be bittersweet Okay. You have all the free time, then you'll be like lonely after a while. So
No, I've been married for 15 years. All of my family members that I see that have been married for that long, they just kind of go do what they want, and then their spouse does what they want, and that's how it is.
yeah, you do start respecting like some individual rights again after that period of time. Because I'm the same way. We've been married. What year is it? About almost 19 next month, so it's about the same situation. And that's what she does her thing. I'm out here doing podcasts, and I'll go play guitar or something like that. And
May will be 15 years for me.
man,
Heck, when I got married, my wife wasn't even legal to drink.
really?
I was 21 and she was 20.
Oh man, we were a little bit older than that, but man, yeah, people don't really do that anymore.
And she wasn't pregnant when we got married.
Oh,
or from a kid. We just got married.
well, that's love then, man. That was love. That's love, buddy.
I mean, she was like still in high school when we started dating, so she's a year younger than me, but
High school sweethearts. That's nice.
I wasn't in high school.
Well, I guess that doesn't really work then. It's not as special as it started out. It started out like a Hallmark movie, and now it's lost that.
I need to wreck things like that. That's not me. I wreck things like that.
I am the destroyer. Hey, you stuck it in for 15 years. I think you're good. You made it. You didn't wreck that, and that's much easier to wreck. So.
Yep.
According to statistics, anyway.
Well, 15 years, I think I got her.
Well, you should. It's too late to try again.
I don't want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I just tell my wife, I say, look how much effort I put into you. You don't have to worry about me cheating because look how much effort I put into you. I don't which is none, by the way. So it's like, I'm not going to have enough effort to put into another chick. No, you don't have to worry about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you reach a certain age, it's like, what am I going to start this process over again? So no, I don't think so.
No, you got too good at, she works at a school. She got too good of benefits for me to ever want to leave her.
See, that's what you're old enough now that you're judging your matrimony by the health benefits and stuff like that. That's hilarious.
Well, geez, I got so much crap wrong with me. I need them health insurance benefits.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, you're an HVAC, so you already have mental illness.
Yeah, well, yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to start coughing now. Good grief. Man. Well, on that happy note, happy anniversary early for next month, and feel free to call in any show, man. All right.
Hey, put me on the text thing. I'm too lazy to send you an email.
Yeah, all right. I can put you on the text thing. Let me write
because
this down on paper.
I missed every single day because I just missed it, not because I couldn't make it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I can definitely do that text thing on this number right here. You got it.
All right.
All right, dude. Well, I guess I'll talk to you next time.
All right, have a day.
All right, man. Later.
Bye.
There's a buddy, Brandon Brenny, and that's probably the last call of the day because we hour and 7 minutes. Let me take a look at some chat stuff here. We're not going to do the manual today, obviously, but that's fine because we have callers. Callers take precedent. I'd rather talk to them anyway. So we'll do the manual tomorrow, which is going to be Thursday. Yep, Thursday at whatever point we do the show then. Like Brandon was talking about, I send out text to everyone that wants notifications for the show because YouTube, although I say hit the remind me button on YouTube when you see the live stream notification, I mean, sometimes it's unreliable, so I text people. Now, I've come to decide if you'd rather have email or something, we can do that. We can do email. So whichever one you want, you can let me know, or if you want both, let me know. If you're interested in being a guest on the show, feel free to email me at hvacshoptalk@gmail.com, and you can be a guest that actually comes on the screen with me if you want to as well. So that'll be a lot of fun. And like I said, we'll talk about this manual tomorrow. And just to lay some of the groundwork, it's the manual for that Lynx system that Albert was talking about on a different show. And I went and started reading this manual and looking at it just to find out more about this unit, which is sort of like a Bosch similar unit. But it turns out there's a whole lot of great information in these manuals. So I wanted to kind of go over some of it on the show so we could all learn, and maybe a new guy out there would pick up something and then we can call and discuss it or do whatever like we've been doing. Let me run through our chat real quick. Steve Stone says there's a daily podcast called Daily Audio Bible. You listen to it every day, you'll hear the Bible in 1 year. Okay, that's a cool idea. So it's called the Daily Audio Bible for anyone who wants that. The Bible is a great training book for life, for HVAC, for everything. I found that there's so much information, not about specific technical things, obviously, but about how to deal with people and how to live your life that'll help you in the HVAC field. And we said, what's up, Steve? She's binge watching stuff right now. Let's see. Randy says, hey, Zach, I have a question for you. I have an electric furnace. And a few weeks ago, the circuit breaker tripped for no reason, and I reset it. It's been fine since, but could a power surge cause that? I mean, power surges definitely cause things like that. But what I found in electric furnaces, they pull so much amperage of electricity. Sometimes these things are 20 kW, 25 kW, and the breakers actually become weak after a period of time. I've seen on more than one occasion where electric furnace breakers become weak and they'll trip early. So you could always test how many amps are being pulled through that breaker. You can get some sort of thermal imager if you have one. I mean, I wouldn't buy one for this purpose, of course. A thermal imager and see how hot that breaker is getting compared to other breakers that are similar in your panel. Like you have a whole bunch of 240 stuff that's running. You can see if that breaker is just much hotter than the other ones. I've seen that be the case in some of these instances. I had a real trouble with one several years ago. I mean, it's probably 10 years ago or more, where it was tripping randomly because the breaker was weak, and I was trying to figure out what it was. Had all these multimeters out there clamped onto different wires, and in the end, it was just a breaker that needed to be replaced. All right. Old Handy Luke, what's up? Let's see. Anti-DIY says, I want the iManifold. You probably don't want this one. This one don't work, Ted. This is something Clint Glasgow sent to me to fiddle around with, and I just put it up here because I know it's kind of a fun subject. We were talking about it before. Let's see. The Zach gauge works fine. Yep, absolutely. Loose connections for the wiring. Yep, Adam, you're right about that too. Excuse me for one moment. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to head out saying if you enjoyed the video, leave a like on the video. Remind you that after the video is over, I convert it into a podcast, and you'll see it appear on podcast apps within about the next hour or two. This video will go unlisted, which means you won't find it on your feed, but you can still find it on my channel if you go to the HVAC Shop Talk Live list, just so you can still watch them, but they won't clog up your feed. But the podcast is really where a lot of people listen to it, and they listen back again when they're at work, which is just fine by me. Podcast is one of the most popular versions of what we do is the podcast version. If you want to support the show like a Patreon style way, you can go to subscribestar.com/Zach-Ciota. It is in the description of this video if you want to do that. I think we are going to be giving away a gift card. I've already picked the winner for the previous month, but we're going to do it at the end of this month. And what we do is whatever guys pledge to the channel, I take half of that, and we have a gift card raffle at the end of the month. So this month, I think it's a $25 TrueTech gift card, and it's going to be a little bit more next month because we have a new subscriber, so probably like a $30 or $35 gift card or whatever we can get in that sort of denomination area. So you can find that in the description for subscribestar.com. You can support our sponsors. There's links in the description. And just anything else you need, you can contact me at hvacshoptalk@gmail.com. There are notification lists in the description as well, so you can join that for texting when we're going to be live. And I think that's about all that. Okay. I like that. The iManifold is a boat anchor. Hey, this one right here might be a boat anchor right now, but we're going to fix it, guys. Brandon says, your second guest was my favorite guest you've ever had on. That is awesome. Me too, man. He better call every show because that's what we're going to need now. Whatever happened to the Skilled Trade-Up Championship? Did I miss it? I don't think we ever had the Skilled Trade-Up Championship. I don't think you missed it. I don't think it ever occurred. But we should probably do the Skilled Trade-Up again one day. I thought about that, but I don't have the equipment to actually do it just yet, but I'm working on it. So maybe we'll do that. Because I'd like to do it every now and then just for fun, but I probably won't be able to do it on a regular basis because it's just too difficult to have the whole apparatus set up. But maybe. Stay tuned on that. I had thought about that earlier. Not today, but earlier in this year. All right, guys and gals. Hope you enjoyed the show. One last thing, if you want to leave a review on the podcast app that you're listening on, please do that. It definitely helps out a whole lot. I will see you guys again. Steve, it's only been 2 years. Yeah, we're almost there, Steve. I mean, it's almost time to do that. I mean, the tension's been building. One of my failures there. That's one of my failures. A 2-year-old championship that never happened. But let me conveniently duck out of the way of that, and I'll be back tomorrow. So you can bring that back with you tomorrow. I'll be here every weekday, taking breaks on the weekends. So I hope to see you guys again tomorrow. And I really can't say see you on the next one because I just said hope to see you again tomorrow. So maybe I'll just have to say the end. Please consider supporting me at subscribestar.com/Zach-Ciota. I offer my Subscribestar subscribers bonus content podcast as well as giveaways every single month for gift cards.